I didn't cry when the summons came. It was almost poetic, really. My parents, who left me wrapped in a hospital blanket 28 years ago, suddenly remembered I existed the moment my grandfather's will made headlines. They were suing me for unlawful inheritance. Unlawful. As if being loved was a crime. I remember the way my grandfather's hands shook when he told me the truth. I was 15. He said they'd walked away when I was 2 days old, left no address, no word. "You were a gift they didn't want," he whispered, eyes wet with a guilt that wasn't his to bear. He raised me like I was the only good thing left in his world. I studied law because he said knowledge protects better than fists. When he died, I honored him with silence. No interviews, no statements, no drama. But they made sure to drag me into the spotlight, claiming I manipulated an old man for his fortune. It would have hurt if I hadn't expected it. The first time I saw their faces in decades was in the courtroom hallway. My mother's hair was the same shade of cruelty I remembered from photos. Platinum and polished, like she'd bleached out anything human. My father wore his money like armor, a tailored suit and a smirk that didn't quite fit the face of a man who abandoned his own child. "Don't look at them," I told myself. But I did, and she rolled her eyes, like I was still the inconvenience she'd once discarded. That's when I knew I wouldn't just win. I'd make them wish they'd never come back. The discovery came quietly, like truth often does. While their lawyers spat accusations, I was busy studying what my grandfather had built. The old man wasn't just rich, he was meticulous. He'd left me not only his estate, but his records. Decades of bank statements, trusts, letters, and, most importantly, a private journal detailing why he'd cut his children off. Every betrayal, every lie, every embezzlement. My parents hadn't abandoned me out of poverty. They'd abandoned me to hide from prosecution. And when my grandfather refused to cover for them, they vanished. I had proof, letters, signatures, even voice recordings. But I didn't submit them right away. No, I waited. Let them smile for cameras. Let them paint me as the manipulative orphan who stole their legacy. The media loved it. I played along. Quiet, calm, unreadable. The silence unnerved them more than any statement could. In the months leading up to the hearing, I played chess while they played checkers. I hired no PR firm, no drama, just preparation. My lawyer, a woman my grandfather once mentored, was the only person who knew the full extent of my plan. Together, we built a case not on emotion, but on exposure. Every financial fraud they'd committed under aliases, every lie they told to investors, every offshore account tied back to them. And we filed it all under Exhibit D, supplemental evidence. It wouldn't be opened unless they pushed too far. They did. The courtroom was a theater of pretense. My mother crossed her legs, looked bored, and smirked at me like a socialite at brunch. "Still quiet, huh?" she whispered as I passed her table. I smiled. Always. The judge entered, a stern man with a reputation for precision. He asked both parties to present opening statements. Their lawyer stood, rehearsed, smooth. Words like fraud, manipulation, undue influence filled the air. When it was my turn, I rose slowly. My voice didn't tremble. "Your Honor," I began, "this case isn't about inheritance. It's about history." I handed over the sealed file, Exhibit D. The courtroom clerk carried it to the bench. The judge flipped it open. And then he froze. Inside was a notarized letter, my grandfather's handwriting, his signature, his recorded statement from a hospital bed 2 weeks before he passed. "If my children ever contest this will, I authorize full release of all records regarding their criminal conduct and abandonment of my grandson." The judge's expression shifted, slowly, gravely. He read the rest in silence. Then, without looking up, he said, "Counselors, I suggest you advise your clients to withdraw this suit immediately." My mother's jaw dropped. My father's face went pale. Their lawyer stammered, asking to review the documents. The judge shook his head. Already verified. These records were authenticated years ago. The courtroom went still. When the recess was called, they rushed toward me. My mother's voice cracked. "You set us up." I met her gaze. "No, you walked into what you built." She raised a trembling hand like she might slap me, but stopped halfway, caught between anger and shame. My father pulled her back. They left the courthouse in silence. Cameras followed them, not me. By sunset, their accounts were frozen. By midnight, their names were trending for all the wrong reasons. I drove to my grandfather's grave that night. The air was cold, still, heavy with the kind of peace that only follows justice. "I did it the way you taught me," I whispered. "Quiet, clean, final."